Welcome back to the OKC Foodcast. You are joined once again by your hosts, Nabil
and Ashley.
And this is your guide to food in Oklahoma.
Yeah. And we have a special guest today. We're very excited to have Bruce with Rococo with us. Hi,
Chef Bruce Rinehart.
Yes, welcome.
Mr. Rococo.
Mr. Rococo. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We're excited to dive into everything Rococo and the history of it. So excited.
Yeah, I wanna know the story behind Mr. Rococo.
Yeah.
But first, let's talk about our favorite thing we ate this week.
Yeah. Who wants to go first? I can go first.
Sure.
All right. So I had brunch at Fassler Hall, and I realized while I was there that I had never been to like the restaurant bar part of it. I had only been to the Dust Bowl. I took my staff there one year for a holiday party, and so I was craving some German food. And they did not disappoint. I had the potato pancakes as an appetizer, and they serve that with. Have you ever had that?
I have not.
They serve it with applesauce.
Okay.
Like as a dipping sauce. And I was like, well, that's kind of weird, but it was delicious.
Oh,
Bruce just gave a thumbs up. I was like, yeah, that
right
sounds
away,
good.
I'm like, right on.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And then because it was brunch, they have a mimosa special where you can purchase a bottle of champagne for $10 and then a cup of juice, any juice you want, either traditional orange or I did one with grapefruit juice and another one with pineapple juice.
That's like your jam.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, you just get a bottle, you bring it to your table, and you each get a cup of juice and, have mimosas. And then for my meal, I did the schnitzel sandwich, which is hand-breaded, deep-fried pork loin on German rye with smoked Gouda and house mustard.
Nice.
So
I'm a fan of smoked Gouda.
I'm a fan of all of that. Like it was really, really good. I loved it.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely be going there for brunch again.
Yeah. I've had some food at Fassler, like some of their sausage, like the chicken sausage, and their fries, like the duck fat fries.
Yeah. We were debating between that or the potato pancake and went with the potato pancake.
Yeah.
But it was very good. So high five, Fassler Hall.
High five.
Right on.
Bruce, what was your eat of the week?
Oh, my eat of the week would have to be I brought in some beautiful fresh sable.
Ooh.
Gorgeous fish from the cold waters of the northern Pacific. And soft and supple and silky and delicious. So I was really excited about it. And made a nice fumet and braised it in a little of the fumet, and I did this barley risotto and just kick. You know what? It was really, really good. I mean, very excited about it. It was awesome, and I hadn't had it in a while.
That sounds really delicious.
Yeah. I mean, you pair anything with a risotto,
Right?
but then you have something as good as that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice. Some roasted fennel and shallots, and I brought in some red and gold beets, and just the whole thing come together. I've roasted the beets and folded them into the risotto, the barley at
Nice.
the very end.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was nice. It was
I
gorgeous.
love beets. I used to think I didn't like them, and then I made them last Thanksgiving and realized I really like them a lot. I made them two different ways last year. I did like a root medley, and then I also did for New Year's this. They called it like this New Year's salad, and it had roasted beets in it, and arugula and pepitas, and
Nice.
it was amazing.
I've only used beets once, and it was to make a beet puree so I could make it look like blood. Because it was for a Halloween party. Yeah. So it was like steak and like blood on it.
Nice.
So it was
You remember that beet risotto we had at the cookbook club?
yes, that
And
was
it's
delicious.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And that color, the beet
Yeah.
color is just
I have a fond
So
memory.
happy.
Can I share it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Years and years and years ago in another life, and I used to go over and cook a holiday dinner, whether it was Thanksgiving or Christmas, with someone. And I always did beets, roasted root vegetables, and parsnips. And this and that.
Yeah.
Just one of my faves. And none of the adults were eating it. And I looked down the other end of the table, and there's about a 2-year-old, and he's purple. And his eyes are like this, and he's eating it like candy. And everyone's just staring. I'm laughing so hard, and I've never forgot it. So
It stains.
when my boys were little, I told them the story. I said, it's like candy. So I kind of got them to eat beets. And now anytime I go to describe something, they'll go, what does it, Dad? Taste like candy? Right. So that's my little beet story.
That's funny.
That's really good. That's funny. Well, cool. What was your eat of the week, Nabil?
Mine was actually in LA because that's where I spent last week at a conference.
And your birthday. Happy belated.
And my birthday. Yeah, thank you. So it just all happened to overlap. And this place wasn't one that I like, whenever I travel, you research heavily into the places that you want to eat.
Right.
This was driving with my Uber driver, completely unsolicited. And we hadn't been chatting this whole time. It had been
like a quiet
fairly quiet ride. We said, hey, how you doing? Kind of, the initial couple minutes of conversation, and then it was a pretty quiet ride. Out of nowhere, the guy was just like, you got to eat here. And he just points to this food truck, and we just keep on driving. I was like, mental note.
Noted.
I mean, the fact that he just randomly said, you got to eat here. I was like, all right, I'll go try it. It was a teppanyaki food truck.
Okay.
So it was called Ben Hibachi.
Uh-huh.
And it was just on the street. And he's like, this is where it is all the time. This is like its spot. And I probably waited about 40 minutes to get my food.
Whoa.
Yeah. There was like a huge line, and people had like online orders. But like their system was just so cool to watch. They made everything right there, and it was delicious.
So
Right
worth
Good for you. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a great find, and oh man,
Worth the 40-minute wait.
I would have done with maybe like a 25-minute wait.
Right. You would have been cool
But
with
you
25.
did it. You got to experience
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. And then you're just standing on the streets of LA, and you're like, well, this is interesting.
Yeah.
You see all the smorgasbord of crowds.
Right.
So it was good, but it was delicious food. So thank you to my Uber driver, whose name I've forgotten, for pointing that out.
Did you give him a nice rating on Uber? They're like good conversationalists. Or
Yeah.
I
don't know what
I feel like
compliment I gave him.
I feel like they have a compliment that was like good recommendations.
Oh, really?
I think so.
I don't think
Maybe.
I've seen that.
I don't know. I might just.
But he got 5 stars.
I may have made
There
that
you
up.
And he got a tip.
There you go.
So
All
there's
right.
that.
Cool. Well, let's dive into Rococo with Bruce.
Let's do it.
So, Bruce, tell us a little bit about your background and where your passion for cooking began.
Oh, my. It actually began out of necessity. So a very, very long time ago, I started in the restaurant business as a dishwasher.
Okay.
And I was killing it. And
Naturally.
I got promoted to pot washer.
Ooh.
Oh,
Because
Moving
then you
on
got
up.
to prep food and
Okay.
stuff potatoes and do some things. It was called the Ship's Wheel in New London, Connecticut. I'll never forget it. Yep. Big seafood house, and
Yeah.
steakhouse, and great place. And that's where it all began.
All right. Cool.
nice.
Did you like grow up cooking, or that was like your
Well,
first?
food was a passion. Both my grandfathers on either side were cooks in the service. One was in the Merchant Marines and one was in the Navy.
Okay.
So there are ties to it.
Yeah.
And my mother was a pretty good cook.
Nice. So it's just kind of something that you were raised around, and then
Something like that. Yeah. There, again, there was a necessity, a need, and went into it. And, I remember watching cooks, and I'm like, Psh, I can do better than those
Right.
guys. And so before you knew it, I muscled my way in.
there you go.
Nice.
And I basically took over, and
Cool.
that was that.
So how long did you spend at the Ship's Wheel? Was that like...
Oh, God, that would be a good question. I mean, it was a good period of time. I worked there actually twice, but I ended up being all over the country. I like to say that my formal training was at the Hotel Del Coronado. I was there in San Diego for 4 years. I was in the Carolinas. I was in New Orleans. I was a lot of time in Boston, D.C., and back to California, back to Connecticut, Rhode Island.
Okay.
So, you know,
So you
I've
traveled
seen a
just
lot
a
of the
little
country,
bit.
just a little bit.
Okay.
Yep.
And you like took your family with you, and they were all happy to come with you.
No, I was a single guy for a long time. A lot of different nuances to all that. You know, I ended up coming to Oklahoma City in '03,
Okay.
and my bride would say that she called me here, and I didn't know it, and I answered.
There you
Aw,
go. Nice.
That's a nice.
That's nice.
Fiery little redhead from Shawnee, America.
There you go.
That's a good story.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you brought, I mean, you just kind of encompassed the whole United States,
Oh yeah.
essentially. So you brought all of those different like experiences, because I mean, you got to experience a lot of different types of cuisine, right? Going from Louisiana all the way up to Maine.
Right.
There's a slight difference in food.
Well, yeah, but you know, it all surrounds about passion and
Right.
love and
Right.
freshness. And I've always been a seafood guy. So whether it was East Coast, West Coast, you know, it's always been an important part of my life. Because when I was a kid, and my boys I finally got them up to Connecticut this summer. We were up there in August, and I got to show them how you literally go to the beach and rake clams and
Right.
get mussels and crab, and they were beside themselves.
That's cool.
You know, and I showed them the literal beaches where I grew up, rode my bike down, and we got mussels and we caught shiners, and so they love fresh seafood.
Yeah.
So it was really a great experience for them and heartwarming for me. But that's always carried through my life, is that fresh seafood
Right.
deal.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah. And you brought all of that to Oklahoma City,
East Coast style.
where
Yeah.
seafood is abundant.
Right. Well, I was joking with somebody last night because they were having the sable, and he's like, "How hard is it?" And I said, "It's hard. You know, it's three times a week we get fish flown in. It's not cheap. You know." And we want it as fresh as we can get it. And the company we used to do business with was literally called Landlock. That was the name of this fish company. And they finally
Well put.
changed it a long time ago to Ocean Beauty. But they're out of Texas, and, you know, they're good people, and they ship a lot in from the Northeast. And we're very particular, you know.
Right.
We only use certain kinds of shellfish, and we want it from certain waters, and you know, we use fish globally, but the majority of it's, you know, either the Northeast or the North Pacific.
Right. Right. So you moved to Oklahoma City in 2003. When was Rococo born?
2003.
2003.
Yeah,
so
we opened in '04. You know, it was an interesting experience, to say the least. I'm wondering about this public forum, because everyone wants to know why on earth did you come to Oklahoma?
Yeah.
So now my bride was the happy ending at the
She called you here.
end.
Yeah.
She called me here. So, but the circumstances of me coming were, let's see how I could phrase this, were clouded. And basically, I had done a big casino opening in the mid-'90s. At the time, it was the world's second largest casino in Uncasville, Connecticut, in the middle of the woods. It's called the Mohegan Sun, but it was brilliant.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Saul
yeah.
Kersner from
Mohegan
South
Sun,
Africa
yeah.
and all this stuff.
nice.
And I met a cat from Oklahoma City, and he was there for a minute. He ended up going to New York. I went to Boston. I was the culinary director at Legal Seafoods for years up in Boston. And so anyway, he had been on the road for 20 years, wanted to come back to Oklahoma City, did, and we stayed in touch. So he calls me one day, and I was at a transitional period in my life, and he said, "Hey, I got a bag full of money. I got a lease for a place on Restaurant Row. We were going to take the old Iglesia building,
Okay.
strip it down to nothing, and do a real dry-aged steakhouse, like you walked in the cases."
Right.
Okay.
So I sold my house, left my girlfriend, packed up everything, and moved to Oklahoma. Well, when I got here, there was no money, no lease. And he was just a little off. So here I am in Oklahoma City.
Oh, wow.
I just know him.
Right.
That's it. And I had a beautiful home in the woods of Connecticut, this and that. So he said, please give it a shot. Give me 6 months and you can go back to corporate. Because I was a corporate rat back then. And I said, well, I'll do it. Mm-hmm. So we did everything to raise money, but walk up and down the side of the highway picking up cans.
Right.
And we put it together on that little corner on 28th and Penn. And we pulled it off. And, we had lines out the door. We were jamming, best new restaurant, national exposure. I mean, we were killing it.
Yeah.
It was 15 years ago. The food landscape, the scene has changed a little bit in the past 15 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, it was a great run. We parted ways, early on. But, it's a truly happy story. We created quite a brand. And, of course, my bride, Amber, and my boys, Will and Brack. And 3 restaurants later and a catering company and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, because you have Rococo's and the Manhattan.
Yeah, we got Rococo, the original on Penn, Rococo North Park, Rococo Catering, and then the Manhattan downtown.
Cool.
That's awesome. So you had mentioned that it was initially, the idea was a steakhouse.
Originally, we still were going with a steak, fish, chop house theme, even when we went to 28th and Penn. But for me, especially being from back east, having some of the connections that I do and some of my background, well, Tony's Italian Specialties was there. And he was an old gangster from Chicago.
Nice.
And so he had been at that location for 25 years, maybe longer.
Yeah.
And, so here we are, we're going to secure this. And all I'm hearing from everybody I meet is Tony's.
Mm-hmm.
And my thought was everybody who walks through that door is going to have a story, some connection.
Right.
Why don't we play into our history, my history, and go that way?
Uh-huh.
So that's what we did. Originally, nothing but the Rat Pack and Sinatra playing, and almost an entire,
cool.
Almost an entirely Italian wine list. And, we leaned really heavily on the Italian and the fresh seafood. And we had some great steaks and chops, some of which we still have on the menu. But we just thought that was, and it was so appreciated that Chris and Tony, the original owners from all those years, came in to see me and say thank you. Because they were enamored with the fact that, because that building was run down to nothing.
Right.
And they were just so enamored that we, in a way, recreated it.
Right. Kind of kept the legacy going.
Yeah, they were beside themselves. It was a cool deal.
I like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
And well, how did you come up with the name Rococo?
Well, we had no embellishment, probably 150 names.
Right.
And
it's like asking, how did you name your child?
Right. And we looked at it a lot of different ways. Part of it was, that period of style after the Baroque period, architectural literature, that strength, but also that feminine side, the ties to Europe. Mm-hmm. And then there was some silly things like my then partner in business, his best friend's nickname was Dr. Rococo. And then there was the whole Rococo thing from the Fireside Theater, and it kept swirling around it, and it ended up being finalized one morning at the Red Cup over coffee and oatmeal on cocktail napkins with J.D. Merriweather, one of the founders of Coop, and David Todd, the artist, and so on. And we picked the name, we did the logo, and
the rest is history.
Off we went.
Nice.
Yeah, very cool.
That's awesome.
I like that. That's really cool.
Yeah. So diving into Rococo a little bit, it's obviously evolved a little bit since its inception, and probably come to be known for a lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
But something that stands out to me as something that you're known for are the crab cakes.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Talk us through those.
Well, it's all about the crab. That's our line. They're baked. There's no filler. There's a little flavorful binder, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, there's this lump crab meat.
I mean,
it's
if you haven't had this yet,
You
they
have
are
to.
delicious.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
They're so good.
we're literally known from Baltimore to L.A. I got a movie director out in L.A. a couple times a year. I ship him some. A great story, and there's a lot of crab cake stories. I could give you an hour's worth or more. But one time a few years ago, a dear friend brought in a lady. She was in town from Baltimore, and she was a little rough, you know. And I said, "You're gonna have one of my crab cakes, right?" And she gives me this look, and she's like, "Why on earth would I have a crab cake in Oklahoma? I'm from Baltimore." I said, well, she goes, don't even. I mean, she basically dismissed me. So I looked at my friend who was going, you know, and so I went and fired a crab
You're
cake.
like, I'm just going to send this out.
So I went and cooked one. I'm coming around the corner, and I got it in my hand. She goes, what did I tell you? And she looked at it and went, huh. And I set it down, and she looked at it, looked up at me, looked down at it, looked up at me. I said, I'll be back. So she ate the whole crab cake, was smiling, and said, I apologize.
Yeah.
She goes, that was the real deal, as good as G&H that's one of the crab cake stories.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would definitely say best crab cake in Oklahoma City.
Yeah. I would say the same thing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They are amazing. Like I've had dreams about those crab cakes.
They're dear to our heart, that's for sure.
How did you come up with this crab cake?
Well, I helped when I was with Legals. They had a 50s, 60s style crab cake. You know, the shredded meat and peppers
Right.
and onions and in the patty, and you pan fried it and all that
Right.
stuff. And some of those are still available in Oklahoma City. And so I helped them with their executive chef translate into a modern cake. And I think I opened 12 Legal Seafoods for them.
Okay.
And I opened the majority of the ones in the D.C. Baltimore market. So we did a lot of market research in Baltimore, created this cake. And it's darn good. Mm-hmm. But it could have been even. So when I moved here and started trying crab cakes, eventually I gave up because it was silly. I said, I'm going to make the best damn crab cake anybody's ever had.
Nice.
And so we played, we did this, we did that, and came up with the one we have.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, you know it. Everyone who has had it knows it.
Yeah, for sure.
Go try it. Go try it. All right, one more crab cake story.
You sure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I do two?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay, so here's one. Me and my bride are out. We're at a restaurant. I won't name it, of course. And, you know, we're just enjoying some
You can
time
tell us
together.
off air.
There you go. And so there's a table next to us, and they're celebrating a birthday or something, and they're having a great time. And so we're sitting there, and their food comes, and we can't help it. The tables are so close together, this and that. So this girl, and I catch it out of the corner of my eye, she's setting down this plate, and there's these two brown things on the plate. And the guy says, what is that? And she goes, oh, those are your crab cakes. And he's like, what? And so the woman across from him starts laughing. She goes, I told you. I said, the only place you get crab cakes in Oklahoma City is at Rococo. So now, and Amber and I are listening to this. So now I couldn't help it. I just burst out laughing. And so they looked at me, and I whipped out my card, and she's like, oh my God, Bruce Rinehart, I had my 40th birthday at your place. And, you know, it was really funny.
That is funny.
So, and now.
I already told you.
Oh, yeah.
Ordered that was at one place.
And then I got two Vegas stories.
Okay.
All right. So the first one, this was years ago. And some friends of ours are at a craps table at Caesar's Palace. And you guys ever
Yeah.
play
Place to
craps?
be, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Only place to be.
So you know how craps can get a lot of talking,
Yeah.
going back
Very
and forth.
loud.
just having
I think that's
fun.
like the best part about
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah.
So somehow crab cakes came up. So my friends here, they're at one end of the table, and then these two guys, well, they're going back and forth if they know the best place where crab cakes are. So finally it gets to, well, where are you folks from? And they said Oklahoma City, and the other couple says, oh my God, Rococo. And they had no idea
How funny.
That's awesome.
So there's the Caesar salad. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
I'm a little tired.
I'm a little hungry, so that kind of
the Caesar salad crab cake story.
Right. And then
crab table.
We used to go to the Nugget a lot.
Yeah.
Amber and I. And so we're walking into Vic and Anthony's one night, and we hear a guy scream at the top of his lungs, "Oh my God, there's Bruce Rinehart. He has the best crab cake anywhere." And Amber's like, "Can we go anywhere without this?"
The crab
Pretty
cake.
impressive.
So we go to the bar, and he's hooting and hollering, jumps up, gives me a hug. I do know him. And before you knew it, the GM of Vic and Anthony's comes out with one of theirs, and they know us there, first name basis. And they're like, "Well, Bruce, we'll just, I don't know, here. That's on me. Let me know what you think."
Yeah.
And so that's another.
That's
was
awesome.
it was it a
crab cake story.
good crab?
It was delicious, but it wasn't.
It wasn't.
It was not.
Rococo's.
Yeah. So
That's awesome. Have you ever eaten? You mentioned because you went to the Nugget at Old Vegas. Have you ever eaten at Pizza Rock?
nope.
Okay, if you're a pizza fan and you're back in Vegas at some point, try it.
Okay, I will. I'll make a note.
The Detroit Red Top and the Margarita are my favorites there.
All right, right on.
He's
I
talked
appreciate
about that red top
Every time.
so
Every
many
time.
times that
Yep.
I feel like we just need to make a trip to Vegas just for the Stamp Pizza.
I'm down. I'm down. Go play some craps, have some pizza.
Right.
Where's it located?
It is on Fremont.
Oh, so it is downtown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just right
Oh,
there.
I'm surprised. Has it been there a while?
Yeah,
Oh, I'm surprised we've never had it.
yeah.
Yeah, because we always stayed downtown in another part of our life. We used to
Right.
go a lot, but our boys and this and that. So, yeah.
So, besides the crab cakes, which first and foremost, everybody should know if you haven't had Rococo's crab cakes, that's what you have to try. But what would you say for somebody that's a first-time visitor beyond the crab cake that they must try?
Well, the love salad. I mean, there's
Okay.
a lot of history there. My love dressing. One of the places I grew up in as a kid was this little gangster restaurant called Huey's. Long gone now, sadly. But you could smell the garlic a mile away from this joint.
Nice.
And it had
Delicious.
like 9 items on the menu.
All right.
And when you went there, you got a cold beer in a cold mug, ice all over it, the sangria. You got a love salad and a scampi.
Okay.
And so I brought the love salad back. I actually have it in bottles. I've been trying to get it on the market for a while now. It's delicious. It's a red wine vinaigrette.
Oh, nice.
It's very much an Italian antipasti salad. It's made with iceberg because that's the way it is.
Right.
But it's for that crispness,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so hard salami and ham and provolone and parmesan and tomatoes and onions and toasted garlic bread. But I have these beautiful bowls that are handmade up in Maine by some hippies, and they send them down to me. and that's all that goes in those bowls. So they have all that seasoning and so on. And we crush garlic into the bowl and crack black pepper, and then we add everything in. The love salad is a true treat. I mean, and it's meant to be shared. It's sent out family style.
Nice.
It's awesome.
I have not had that.
Me neither.
I'm surprised because I'm a big salad fan.
Well, usually I'll just be like, I'm gonna have the crab cakes,
Right.
and then
Well, and I mean, you do what I've had. You do like seafood specials, like it's
All the time.
different
Oh, yeah.
types of fish, and so that's
Yeah.
what I always lean towards is the fish, and so I'm definitely gonna have to try this love salad.
Yeah, it'll warm your heart. It's a cool deal. So the love salad's big, and of course any of the fresh seafood.
Yeah.
We drive that process, whether it's mussels or clams or whenever we can get wild salmon during the season, it's always that. Line caught. I got some beautiful bay scallops right now that are just so sweet and gorgeous, whether I'm broiling them or even frying them. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
I got some beautiful fresh flounder last week, and I did fish and chips, and people were like, "Oh my," because it was so good. It was so sweet. So those are all, must-haves.
Yeah.
I always guide the guests because we got a good quality beef program, and we have a great preparation called pan roasting. And usually with a fillet, it's the best. And real intense high heat, we just sear it on each side and finish it with a roasted shallot red wine demi-glaze. It's divine. We're known for our risottos.
Yes, I have had.
Yeah,
your
we're known
risotto.
for our risottos. And then what I call the Italian side of the menu. My Parmesans, my marinara is delicious. And, those that are intimate with us know about my big tasty balls. I have these wonderful, wonderful meatballs.
And now we all know about them.
Right. Well, it depends. Some people,
Big tasty balls.
some people love it, that fun, and some
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
When we opened North Park, I had a server, and we had just opened, packed all the time. This and that. Well, part of training was that, but it was a joke,
Oh, yeah.
So I go by a table. It's 3 women and 4 girls, probably under 13, and he's telling them about my big tasty balls. And I'm looking at their faces, and I know it's wrong. So I grabbed his elbow, and he just cringed, and I pulled him away, went up to the table, and I said, let me tell you about my meatballs and how good, and
Yeah.
I turned them all around.
Yeah.
But then
Read the table.
Right. You read your guest. So we used to have a group of ladies. They were all in their 50s, maybe even later than that. But they wanted me to come out and talk about my balls.
Right.
And they had a ball with it.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Well done.
But my marinara, my Parmesans, all of that are great. It's hard to beat one of our marsalas, whether it's veal or chicken. And, it's a great array of food.
Yeah.
So the menu's, big. And
And you also do brunch.
we
Right?
do a great brunch. Yeah.
I think I had an eggs Benedict.
Yeah, we do our
No, it wasn't a crab cake eggs Benedict.
we do a crab cake Benedict.
Maybe it was then, because I feel like that's what I would order.
And then we do
But that's been a while back.
we do a classic style Benedict, but with our spicy capicola instead of
Okay.
ham, so it has a
Yeah.
different flavor and flair to
Right.
it. And one of the highlights is we have a dish called the Belgian Hangover.
Uh-huh.
And it's sautéed garlic and confetti vegetables, but that the spicy capicola's in it.
Oh, okay.
Chicken stock, Gruyere cheese, linguine, and then we float a couple of sunny eggs on it. That is an awesome.
That sounds
Awesome.
awesome.
Bruce, I'm gonna have to spend a week at
There you go.
Right?
Rococo,
It's awesome.
and I just try because Serena's mentioned one of the best steaks she's had was at Rococo.
Oh,
And
That's his wife.
Yeah, and every time we talk about steak, she's like, "Oh man, the best steak I had."
well, that warms my heart.
yeah.
Was it one of the cuts right off the menu, a feature?
I am not sure because I wasn't there for that meal, but I think it was probably off the menu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because every evening we do some select features, as we call them, and one of them is a big dog daddy, and it's my poking fun at Toby Keith. So every night we do a big dog daddy steak special, and we do a lot of fun things that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I like
cool.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like every time we look, Rococo's always doing something fun, always doing some sort of special event. That's you driving that, right? Like,
Yeah.
let's try this, let's try that. It's cool because you're trying different things while sticking to what makes Rococo so good.
Well, thank you. And that, it's a process. There's a lot of people involved, but, for both the employees and guests, because I talk about our external guests, which are the customers coming in the front door, and our internal guests, the employees coming through the back door. And you want to keep it fresh. You want to keep it exciting. And we're always trying to do different things. A lot of it ends up tying into how involved we are with the community, which we are. And but like the pop-up brunch that's coming up this Sunday, that's a revisit of our cruise line style, is what we call it. So we have stations set up all over the restaurant.
And that's on November 17th.
November 17th.
Yeah.
And
also, congratulations is in order for your 9th anniversary
Oh, that's
party
right.
Yep.
on November
Yeah.
22nd.
Yep.
And you have a fun contest in that, don't you?
We do. We've been doing it for a few years now, and every year we have folks guess how many crab cakes we've sold at North Park up to that point. And then closest to the...
So y'all keep track of that? How many?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I guess you go back in cells and
Yeah,
see.
that's what we do.
Yeah.
And that person wins a free crab cake a week for a year. It's like a $1,200 something value.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
that would be a dream come true.
I mean, we know it's more than 40,000 because that's what you've said.
Whatever I was going to say, whatever the social media post said. I'm sticking to that.
Well, you got to give us a little more of a hint. I need to win these crab cakes.
right? I mean, literally, dream come true.
Yeah.
Well, we had a friend and a dear friend, and she got it within, I forget what it was. Was it 2 years ago? Like within 6 or something.
Are you serious?
just
Oh my
something
gosh.
bizarre.
Wow.
And she did it sitting at North Park the night before with 2 Sazeracs and on a cocktail napkin and said, I have a feeling this is the number.
Wow.
That's pretty impressive.
And she's been that close every year, like right in the
Dang.
mix.
Really?
Yeah.
What was her number 2 years ago?
Right, I don't remember. But it's good fun, you know. We have fun with it. You know, we give away things, and you know, we'll do a raffle, and my boys are there, and we got a great band. You know,
That's just a
Amonte's
big
going to be
celebration.
there. It is. It's a lot of fun. We just did Penn's 15 year,
Okay. Wow. 15 years. That's amazing. It really is.
and it was real emotional because it may be our last one there.
Right, because are you relocating that particular?
We're
one?
going to move Penn. There's a lot of magic's got to happen, but we're moving Penn right next to Sushi Nico on
Where
Western.
the barrel used to be.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
right. Yeah.
Yep.
I remember
should be
reading
cool.
an article about that. I think that'll be a great location.
Well, we're very excited, and it's time. It's time on a lot of different levels. When we talk about newness, freshness, everything we're trying to do, think about the brand. 15 years, you know, there's a lot to protect and a lot to, you know, how do you do that?
Right.
So we're looking at new colors, new menus.
Okay.
This will be Rococo 2020.
Nice.
That's
Nice.
Now I'll have a favorite section because how could I not?
Right.
Of course.
But we're looking at a different approach to our center of the plate, our beverage program, and how we're doing things.
Okay.
And it's really exciting for me personally.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yes.
I think that location will be excellent.
Yeah. But it's
That-
with mixed emotions, too. My boys grew up on
course.
28th and Penn.
Right.
You know, there's a lot there. But our intention is to keep the Penn location in the family.
Yeah.
And that will house our catering team.
Nice.
All of our catering operations, and be available for private events.
Nice.
So it could be chef's dinners. It could be a pop-up with another chef,
Right.
Christmas parties, business
cool
meetings,
idea.
award ceremonies, charity things. You know, a lot of the nonprofits, or a number of nonprofits, have reached out to me going, "Oh, Bruce, because we're getting charged this, that."
Yeah.
And having Rococo Penn yourself, it's a cool venue.
Oh yeah.
And since that individual drove through the front of the building a few
Right,
months back,
right.
Oh yeah.
it's all the new vestibule and new frontage and patio and wrought iron gate and all
Kind
that.
of made you update the location a little
It
bit.
really did, and
Yeah.
it actually, you know, it changed our look at some things and colors, and we'll do a little revamping of the Penn location as well.
Yeah. Very cool.
That's cool.
And then another event, I wanted to mention this since Thanksgiving is around the corner, that you guys will be doing a Thanksgiving buffet on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we do a grand, bountiful buffet. You know, similar to one of those big hotels, but with a lot more love.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and it's all the food I would make at home. So I make the gravy. It's my dressing. It's a savory cornbread, mushroom and leek
Yeah.
dressing. You know, it's delish.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's done with a lot of love. And it's always been a great holiday for us because people are so grateful
Right?
that we're doing it.
Yeah.
And this year, there's been quite a groundswell. I think we're going to end up serving over 500 of our dearest friends.
Wow.
that'd be
That's
awesome.
amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, and it really, I mean, around the holidays, there's so much stress and pressure. And I feel like if you aren't inclined to, you know, cook a big meal and that kind of thing stresses you out, doing something like going to Rococo's and just being able to relax and have a beautiful meal that's prepared with love is amazing.
Yeah, there's folks that bring their families every year, and when they're done this Thanksgiving, they'll make their reservation for the following year.
Right.
You know, it's become a tradition for a lot of them.
That's awesome.
And,
Yeah.
you know, I'm up there, and this year my son Will is going to join me. He's going to work the dessert station,
Nice.
and you know, it's a labor of love.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Now, is that the Thanksgiving buffet? Is that reservation only?
It ends up getting there. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll be booked solid. There'll be people calling us and yelling and screaming at us the day before. Going, what do you mean you can't fit 8 of us in at noon?
Right. So, I mean, this will go out before Thanksgiving,
It
so
will,
make
yeah.
your reservations.
Yeah, I think
now,
we're up to
people.
almost 300 as of today.
Wow.
I think. Yeah.
That's impressive.
That is
That's cool.
cool. What is your personal favorite Thanksgiving dessert?
Oh, dessert. That wasn't even on my radar.
That came out of left field.
I know. Well, he mentioned the dessert station, and I don't know.
I'm very classic. I'm all about a pumpkin pie or an
Yeah.
apple pie and some ice cream.
Nice.
That.
Apple pie and ice cream.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm all over it.
That sounds really good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that can kind of lead us into the other.
Fun questions.
Fun questions.
Left field questions.
Yeah. So this segment's called the kitchen sink, and
Okay.
this is we ask every guest that comes on these questions.
Okay.
Yeah, you want to start us off, Nabil?
Let's do it. No doubt you have a passion for cooking. What's your favorite thing to cook at home?
It depends. It depends on the seasons and
Okay.
what's going on. I mean, overall, my favorite thing, depending on the time of year, is straight up like peasant food.
Yeah.
You know, a roast, a bird, a fish, fresh vegetables, herbs. I throw it all together. I throw it in the oven, and I pour myself a glass of wine.
Yeah.
And you're like, let it do its magic.
And let Mother Nature be Mother Nature. It
Yeah.
truly is some of my favorite foods.
Yeah.
Probably just in the last few weeks, we've done that 3 or 4 times, and I'm not home very often. You know,
Right.
but it truly is. That's my ultimate favorite. And emptying out the fridge
Emptying out the fridge.
and making goulash.
Oh yeah. My mom, I remember as a kid, she'd be like, "We're having goulash night." My sister and I'd be like, "Oh, what's gonna be in it this time?"
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It takes a special talent though
It
to
does.
take all of that and turn it into that.
Yeah.
You know?
That's funny. So because you do work a lot of evenings and maybe not cooking at home every night, if you want to pick up a quick bite to eat, what is that?
Well, right away I'm gonna just call it, and there's a little pizza place on the corner in the middle of nowhere where we live. Single mom, she does a great job, and that's our go-to.
Nice. What's it called?
Danny B's.
Danny
B's.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's a ride. It's on like the corner of 178th and Rockwell,
Okay.
I think. And we'll call up first name basis, and we know what the kids want. And she does this spinach salad and her own version of ranch dressing and
Ooh,
boiled eggs and
yeah.
mushrooms on it.
Oh,
And-
nice.
And it's truly our comfort thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Cool.
Gonna have to try that.
Yeah.
What is the strangest thing that you've tried?
There's been a lot. I was thinking about it because someone mentioned to me, you might ask that. What keeps coming to mind is I went to this, a local chef I won't mention, and he did this little, quote, secret dinner. And so on the rare, I got to go to this thing. There were, I think, 10 of us. And
A secret dinner.
yeah, it was too, you know, and it was one of these vibes. And, but anyway, of all things, sea urchin.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't care for it. Now, I don't know if it's the way it was cooked or whatever. My wife was like, oh my God. And I'm like, you know, and it was just really odd. I don't know if it would be something I would revisit.
Was it presented in the sea urchin? Because every time I see that being cooked, people like to use that as the vessel
I don't
for
think so.
plating.
It was.
It's
I'm
not that
trying
it's
to
black with all the
remember.
spikes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I
And-
haven't tried that.
It was, in theory, camouflaged with something else. And
Okay.
it was just really odd for me. I wasn't. But again, maybe it's the way it was prepared. Doesn't mean it was bad.
Right.
It just meant it wasn't for me. But
Right.
it was odd. I was ready for that course to be over.
Like, how big of a bite can I take?
Amber was, hey, here you go, honey. And I'm like, I'm good. And,
I don't want to eat it all. Let's share. Let's
right,
share.
there you go. I'm saving
gotta
room
try
for
some
my
of this.
next course. It was like this big was the portion. So,
That's funny. Okay. What is your favorite snack food?
popcorn.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Nice.
I got one of those popcorn makers at the house.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Is it one of the big ones that it has like a door?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
And just, you fill the house with the smell and everything else. And, well, I got a little selection of truffle salts and different things.
I was about to ask because so I used to, for my job, I used to travel around and open up, like I would train the owners and the staff of new Pinos Palette locations.
Okay.
And this location in Wichita that I did the opening for, they had one of those popcorn machines in the studio, and they would use truffle oil, and they also one time did something with like cracked black pepper on it. And I was just like, this is like a dream to have one of these machines. And it's so much better than just when you pop it at home and pour stuff on top. It's better. It's not the same.
It's not the same. And
No.
I revisited it when the cooler temps were coming. And because the boys will take one of those bag things, throw it in the microwave.
Oh, yeah.
Boom.
Right.
And so I got them. And I even bought, like I have, the bags that say fresh popcorn,
Right.
and, all of this. And now they're like, hey, make some popcorn, Dad.
Yeah.
So.
It's so good.
Yeah. I got to,
Good
can I tell you a
choice.
little popcorn story?
Yeah.
So years and years and years ago, I took over and helped fix up this little inn in Mystic, Connecticut, right on the river. And we went to this food show, and Dick Kiley, God rest his soul, he wanted a popcorn machine in the bar. And I'm like, well, Dick, the staff's not very bright. And he said, well, surely there's, quote, an idiot-proof one. So we go. So we're talking to these guys, and this was late 80s. And so we find this machine, and the guy's like, trust me, it's idiot-proof. Everything comes in this packet. You just put the packet in the machine, you're done. Okay, great. So get it installed, do everything. You know where this is going. So I'm upstairs. It had 3 stories, and I smell burning plastic. And right away I say to myself,
They didn't take it.
she didn't. I know. Tell me she didn't. So I go running down the stairs, and it's all melting and smoking and burning in the machine. I said, what were you? You said put the packet in the machine.
So it was not idiot proof.
No, her nickname, and I'll never forget this too, and think about it, this was late 80s, was Poda, because that's how she used to write potato, because back then we had hand checks, there were no machines and all that stuff. That's how she would write potato. Poda. She was cute and adorable, I'll tell you that, but oh my God. So yeah, Poda threw the whole package into the popcorn machine.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Well, Bruce, do you get time to watch TV?
Not really.
Okay. Well, this might be a tough question, or you might have seen something then. Your favorite food show or movie?
Well, my favorite movie is The Godfather.
Oh.
If it's food related, we love Ratatouille.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
so
That's
yeah.
a good
That's a
one.
good-
I
Yeah,
love
we
that.
actually have the poster up in the theater room.
Oh, nice.
And we'll
Nice.
pop that in once in a while.
Do you make
a good
Ratatouille?
one.
Yeah, different versions.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Great dish.
I made it for the first time after watching it with my nephews, and I was like, I think I could make
I want
this.
to make it. I've never
It's
attempted
good.
it.
My dad, he grows a ton of vegetables, and one year he had a bunch of what is it? The purple
Squash, eggplant.
And then I had squash and zucchini
Sure.
and onions from his garden. I was like, that's what I'm gonna make.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
pretty
it's a
good.
classic. The food show thing, Amber loves the Food Network and HGTV. So
Yeah.
and at any given moment, I could be running through the house and one of them's on.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I haven't really watched since Julia or Pepin was on.
Right.
So.
All right. Next question. What country or region do you think has the most intriguing food scene or culture?
Here in the States or abroad?
Either way.
Anyway, outer space, wherever you want to go.
That's funny. Well, again, seasonality, moods. I've never been abroad, so I would. My bride's 50 is coming up, and we're hoping to do a Mediterranean cruise. That's what she wants.
Yeah.
Greece, Italy, France.
That would
so
be amazing.
that to me would be just awesome.
Yeah.
And it's so dear to my heart to go back east and go to New England and just Route 1 and the little fish shacks and all of that. Trip to New Orleans, it's just so hard to beat.
Yeah.
I love the vibe. I love the spice. I love the food.
Me too.
So, New Orleans is pretty close to my heart, too.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Absolutely.
And again, all centering around seafood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm that way. I think you are a little bit too. I mean, we both love seafood.
Yeah. So when I was younger, I wasn't a seafood fan, but more and more I'm becoming it.
Maybe I misspoke because I am.
You're
always
definitely more of a
Seafood.
seafood junkie than I am.
Okay.
100%.
All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. No, literally whatever type of food it is, whether it's Cajun or Japanese or I don't know, Italian, like I'm always leaning towards seafood.
Well, it was like when we talked about, some of the go-tos at Penn. We do this. It's actually a Portuguese influenced stew, but it's a fish stew.
Nice.
And it kind of takes days to make because we make a beautiful fresh fumet, and then we make the mother sauce, and then we finish the dish on the third step with the seafood.
Right.
And the layers of flavor in this dish, and it's got andouille and saffron. But when I talked about Mother Nature and things like, just tossing stuff in the oven and so on, all those dishes go all the way back in origins to the paupers. They had all the scraps.
Yeah.
So whether it's chipino or bouillabaisse or, the Portuguese fish stew, all of that, the history behind it. When we were kids, there was a period of time where we used to go to Stonington, Connecticut, Westerly, Rhode Island, all those little towns on the water there, those were all Portuguese fishing villages. That's the way New England was, founded or grew, and those kind of foods and that just natural, oh my God, it just incredible.
Doesn't get any better.
Yes. Yep.
Cool.
Oh man, I want to try that now.
The fish stew.
Yeah.
It's the layers that anybody that just gets into it goes, oh my God, the layers to this dish.
Oh, I want that.
You said that's at the Penn location?
It's at both. Yeah.
It's at both?
And
Sweet.
you can get it a couple of different ways. I often tell people you don't have to get it with the lobster in it, and it brings the darn price down.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you just want some of that white fish and scallops and the shellfish and that broth,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
I definitely am going to go get that.
I'm telling you, got to spend a week at Rococo.
Right?
You don't kick people out, right?
No, please come. Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Final question. What is your favorite restaurant in Oklahoma City?
Well,
Now, you can't say Rococo.
no, I wouldn't. Well, it's like some of the foods, this or that. It just varies.
Yeah.
Amber and I love the pad thai at Sai. Haven't been there for a minute, but it was one of our favorites. We just adore the hospitality at the ranch. Mm-hmm. We love the classic nature of the metro.
Yeah.
I love the funky vibe at Ludovine.
Oh, yeah.
So we don't have a fave. It's very mood oriented. What kind of vibe do we want to surround ourselves with?
Yeah.
What the nature of it is. it kind of ebbs and flows.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that's actually a great answer. We talked about how people are moody eaters naturally. We talked about that with Chef Black.
Mm-hmm. For the Black Walnut episode.
Yeah. Of how people, just gravitate towards what mood are they in. So everyone's a moody eater.
Yeah, and that's like how he curated the menu was by flavor profiles rather than
he's a good man.
Appetizers and all that stuff. Yeah.
So no, I liked all those answers, all those places.
Cool.
Yeah, that's good.
Is there? I'm digging into it. Is there a particular place that you have to take someone that's visiting from out of town?
Oh, wow. Well, Rococo.
Dang it, I didn't say you can't see Rococo.
On that one.
Yeah, I think that's a great spot to wrap up the episode. Well, thank you so much, Bruce, for taking time out of your busy schedule and coming to chat with us.
Yeah. My pleasure. Truly, you folks have been great, and I appreciate it. It's an honor, and I've enjoyed hanging out.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Thank you.
And definitely be sure to check out both of Rococo's locations. And if you are interested in an amazing Thanksgiving dinner, make your reservations now.
Try the crab cakes.
You got to try the crab cakes.
Fish stew, love salad.
Fish stew, love salad.
Spend the week at Rococo.
Yes. And so follow us on OKC Foodcast on Instagram and Facebook. Mm-hmm. If you'd like to send in some listener feedback or just say, hey, you can email us at okcfoodcast@gmail.com.
And don't forget to show Rococo some love on Instagram, Facebook. Where else are you at? Twitter.
Yep.
And go follow them. Get to know all the different events and specials that are coming up.
Yeah, we have that there. And we have a lot of humor. If you hit me, I'm kind of I ebb and flow between the professional and personal. And
nice.
But Love Rococo has become our new web and hit thing.
Okay.
If you look up Love Rococo, you'll see all our stuff.
Perfect.
There you go. So show Rococo some love with Love Rococo. And like Ashley said, follow us, all that fun stuff. And don't forget to leave us a rating and write us a review, because those help get out in front of more people, because they know what to expect when they listen to it. So if you say this is a 5-star show, they're going to believe you.
Very nice. Good for you.
And until next time, friends, eat well and be happy. Bye.